goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Yeah, simple of feelings, and boom, you got a sound.
I remember this one time. I'd been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Tonight, the anthemic, jangly indie rock of Fox Royale. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, good evening, everybody. I am Philip Reese.
Hello, and I am David Moore, co-host.
And this is
your next favorite band.
I think we're getting some good overlap there.
We've almost got it. We're going to have to figure it out one of these times, like a metronome, to get it all worked out.
Maybe by season 3, we might have it.
Well, then we'll just totally have a whole separate, startup at that point in time because you got to, keep it interesting, right? That's one of those things you always have to
for the algorithm.
Right, for the algorithm. That's right. We're slaves to the algorithm.
Well, everyone is at the end of the day.
Modern version of slave to the rhythm, right? I mean,
well, yes, absolutely, and happy All Hallows Eve to all.
No, it's All Saints Day.
All Saints Day. That's yesterday, wasn't it?
Day of the Dead.
It's
wrong. If we are
Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, if we're gonna go south of the border from where we are.
Correct. So if anybody's watching Coco today instead of our show, I get it. It'll be available on YouTube. Yeah. It's on brand. And or the other thing we're up against, and not that we do a lot of sports talk here, although you did close the show with sports talk.
Oh, there's so many sports references that I get right. Like I'm so on top of it.
Well, I wanted to test you a little bit here. Tonight, the Phillies, because that's local for us, a lot of people who I was reaching out to.
They're game 3 of the World Series tonight.
Game 3 of the World Series, which was good for them.
It was delayed because of rain. It was supposed to be last night.
Correct. Well, they were going to play tonight either way. They
Correct. Would have been game 4.
Yeah. So
but now all the pitching rules have changed because another rest day.
I'm so proud of you right now.
Look at this. You would think like right now the media is saturated with this information. I have no choice.
Right. That's exactly right. But
to be honest with you, most of this information is coming from the weather guy. From Bobby.
Bobby Martrich, yep.
Yeah.
And I get that because he's a huge Philly fan. And let me say this.
Well, his company has a relationship with Major League Baseball. So, I mean, he's even got some sort of say in what happens.
He has, and skin in the game and everything, yeah. But Phillies World Series, totally, didn't see that coming at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the Eagles are 7-0. The Union, the soccer team,
I can tell the Union are in the final against a Los Angeles Football Club for the Cup, and that is happening, I think, the 7th.
Yep. So it's 2 teams in the finals, one undefeated, the lone undefeated team. So again, not a lot of sports talk on here, but I just figured I'd take a moment, at a minimum, to acknowledge the fact that if our viewership is low, it's simply because we're being beat out by championship level sports.
Usually our viewership is very equivalent to a World Series game.
Correct. Right. So every Tuesday night, 6:30 is our World Series. 52 of them. Lock it in.
It's really 52. It's a really interesting elimination because you could have a tie. I guess it's more like soccer than we thought.
Yes. Okay. So I think we've nailed that. That may be the only time we actually talk sports.
That was the longest sports conversation I think we've ever had.
Anyway, so let's transition over to our artist for the evening. They are actually I hate this. Sometimes I start talking about them and then it totally takes away from your bio. So let me keep my mouth shut. and I'll just kind of lead into the music. I find this band, and I can't wait to learn more about this. I find it fascinating because you and I saw them on the last day of Musikfest. It was the closing day. They were like
one of my picks.
That was one of your picks, and a home run, I will say.
If
we
keep up the sports analogy, people are going to be like, "What show am I listening to?"
Right, exactly. So they were the last day's a tough one because you're exhausted.
10 days of August is tough.
Right. You're sad about it being done, but you're also kind of like, there's a lot of food I need to get in before the end of this. But also, there's this particular year, there was some stunning artists out there. And again, like here was a must-see artist that we had never seen before. So we were very excited to check them out, and they did not disappoint. They exceeded expectations. And so we sat there for a good bit and really just kind of soaked that in and been in touch with them since then. And so here we are afterwards. So like now you're like, wow, we listened to 60 minutes of this music. It was really great. But then you go out and you find that they don't have a lot of music that's out there. However, what is out there is extremely well produced. So not only is the audio great, but they've got these almost movie level videos that are out there. And it's just like, who are these guys? So I can't wait to talk with them. But anything else you would add from the show that we caught?
I told you to be there and you showed up. So I feel like it was I was the tastemaker for the day.
Nice.
No, they were great. We'll talk more about it when we talk to Nathan, who's here with us tonight.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to talk about things like harmonies and family harmonies, because I think that plays a role in part of their sound.
Absolutely. So like I said, here, take a listen to, this is their song called Out of My Hands. And if you're watching, you're going to really enjoy, again, it's like a Steven Soderbergh kind of like, level movie going on here. So let's take a look and a listen.
I'm no good man, you won't forget. Rude words I said, I'm still a mess. Help me to breathe first, teach me to please her. How can I be sure when the future is out of my hands? Fell to my knees, bowing my head.
Fox Royale make anthemic, jangly indie rock that sparkles with the same energy as acts like Cage the Elephant and Vampire Weekend. Before they were a rock band, the members of Fox Royale were in a traveling orchestra. The band was born when high school friends Nathan Hurley, Davis Drake, and Evan Todd, along with Nathan's younger brother Caleb, began jamming in their parents' homes. Eventually, they started thinking, hey, let's try a little harder at this. The band then began touring extensively for 3 years, eventually earning a stage in front of War Road Music Management, who gave them their first record deal. Fox Royale has since put out several singles, most recently at the time of this recording, releasing Carnival Gods.
Excellent. Let's let some more of this play out here before we bring Nathan in.
Can change more than everything we said. So here we stay to make the peace and love until we're dead. And we're not dead yet.
Not dead yet. That's important.
Help me to breathe first. Teach me to please her. How can
There's
I be
also clearly just a lot of fun that they have, and the songs are just, they're tight, they're well produced. Again, it's just another one of those bands that you're just like, why is it not more popular? How did I not hear this some other way or on a television show or a movie? But anyway, enough about all that. Let's bring in Nathan Hurley, vocals, guitar, frontman. Is that appropriate?
Yeah, I'll claim it. Frontman.
Him, David Lee Roth, Mick Jagger. I mean, it's,
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really that. I mean, you
Right.
know.
Well, you do write the songs together, correct?
Yeah, so I come up with the lyrics and some chords, and then the guys they write their own parts on their instruments, and then they help me finish the lyrics. A lot of times I get stuck on things where I start overthinking something. I'm like, you think like so and so is gonna know that's about them, and they're like, we didn't even know that was about them, and we don't even know who that is. So like, no one's gonna care. So my brother's always like, no, that's stupid. Don't think about that.
Right. Yeah. Don't let it
I'd
hold
like
you
to
back.
think that the "I'm Not Dead Yet" the reference that Phil pulled out there is really a reference to Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and the reference
I've thought of that before.
when the cart is being pulled away, you
Yes.
know, and it's
Nice.
it's a nice piece. There's a whole connecting, I'm sure, Monty Python universe that's going to connect all of your pieces at some point in time.
You found the thread
Yeah.
of the whole band. Yeah.
I'm out.
Right. Yeah. And David can leave now.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, yeah. Listen, it's amazing. Like I find again, like the quality of that music. Like anytime that I say, "Hey, put that on," and this isn't the only one. Like you have, many other songs that are of this same level of kind of just ear. It's not pop music, but it certainly just catches your ear like right away. And
Thank
so,
you.
just a lot of people like again, like a lot of times you get asked, like, how come I haven't heard of them before? And it's just like, I think it's just time and opportunity or whatever. But like, just kudos to you all for just sticking with it and really putting together some excellent music.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
I also appreciated the Steven Soderbergh reference. I love him, and I'm very much a director fan. I just follow directors, and I'm like finishing trying to finish all the Scorsese movies right now, and that's the one thing I get to do that's like film related. I'm like, can I do a music video? And sometimes they tell me no, we don't have one for every song yet.
Yeah,
that's very much
well, like that. It reminds me of like the way that Ocean's 11 was shot, or Out of Sight. Like there's some of those movies where they're like the way the screen gets split in multiple ways, almost as like a throwback to the 70s, but in a very modern way. Anyway, all that being said, who does all of the like that, the directing, the editing, all that kind of stuff? Where does that all
a guy
come
named
from?
Colin Williford is he was at my first show or my last show in Guys on a Bus, and right before we got a small record deal and became Fox Royale, he was like, if you ever want to do a video together, like let me know. So I would write scripts and would storyboard it, and then I would send it to him, and he would do all the location scouting, and he put together like a 5-person team and like the smallest possible budget, and we would film for 10 hours so it could be in one day, and we did 3 or 4 with him, I think, and we shot one. I directed one finally, and we used an actual like a Super 8 camera, and we had to ship that off. And once we got the digital version back, my friend edited that one. But that was a lot of fun too. Just much more of like a handheld like shaky cam,
right?
Like trying to go for like the Super 8, like the Spielberg Super 8 movie with J.J. Abrams, I think. So
yeah, J.J. Abrams was actually the director of it, and Spielberg was the producer. It was
was that Nicolas Cage? Is that what that was?
No, it's a bunch.
Oh,
of
that's
kids.
8mm. That's
8 millimeter.
Yeah, that would have been a different direction.
They're not
totally
different.
Yeah. Wow, that would be a totally different video.
Welcome to sports and movie talk. We didn't know we were having tonight.
Yeah, who knew? So with before, and you mentioned it already, the Boys on the Bus, and we always like to kind of go back to the beginning and move forward. But before we get to that, I want to bring up the article that you wrote for the releasing of that video that we just watched and took up. So is that on the screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this is an article you wrote back in August of 2020. So this is it's going to be you can see there's titled "Creating in Quarantine." It's a pretty cool, like, just summary of where things were in that time and how frustrating and scary it was. But tell us a little bit more about this article.
Yeah, I remember that I wrote it, and I remember so basically
for Joplin Toad.
Yeah, that's a magazine, like a nonprofit here in Joplin, and I ran their music publications for a couple of years, which worked out well whenever I needed to do some press for my own band. So
I can imagine.
So that was tricky because we were filming in Oklahoma City, and our crew was coming from different states. We had guys from Texas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, and we had to coordinate, and we were very cautious about masks because there was still a mask mandate everywhere. And also,
this is like pre-vaccines. This is still scary times of no one knows anything really.
And the perk was there was nobody at that restaurant that day, and we just asked them because it was a bar that I thought was cool, and they let us shoot there for free. And since then, they've booked us for multiple concerts on that patio where we filmed. And yeah, it was tricky. It took probably a month to do like pre-production, which I'd never really done on a video. I've heard about it in interviews, but we actually like had to prep a lot and get releases signed and all that. And yeah, it took a minute. And then the fear was, I mean, like even in the hotel that we filmed, we were only allowed, like I got kicked out because there were too many people. So once we were done with my stuff, they sent me like out of the building because there was like,
you mentioned that here where it was like, I think actually you mentioned frontman not being able to be there.
Yeah.
and it's just one of those, that's gotta feel like you're scared because you're like, wait, we're a team. We do this together. And now I'm not there. Like, I guess.
Yeah. And I had like written it and I was very precious about that because that was the second one. I think we've done 4 or 5 now. And like, that was my second time. And I was like, well, we did it. Like the first one went well. We got it greenlit. The label approved it and people liked it. I was like, if I mess this one up, they're not gonna let me do this again. So then I got kicked out and I was like, all right, well, I trust Colin. Colin's fantastic. And I need to work with him again. Actually, I haven't talked to him and it's probably been close to a year since we did one together.
All right. Shout out to Colin.
Yeah, Colin Williford. Yeah. He's awesome.
We're going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
And this right here, the closing I had to ask you about, you say peace and love, you lying dog-faced pony soldiers. I figured they had to have a story.
There was. I'm trying to remember where I heard that. Somebody said that in an interview. I can't remember if it was Joe Biden or I think it was Joe Biden. Like before he was president, he just somebody asked him a question and he called him a lion dog faced pony soldier, and it just like nobody said anything. It was at a press conference. Like it was like, I mean, that is like a so yeah. So I just put that in there. You're the first person to mention it, actually. So
right, and that's probably a good moment to just say, hey, next week, next Tuesday, go vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Just take your opportunity to go vote and make sure you you let your voice be heard. So anyway, there you go. Little PSA moment.
True.
So anyway, yeah, thanks for the article. I think people should check it out. We'll link to it in the show notes here. It's just kind of, again, like combining. I had only seen the video since August in research for this interview, and you don't get a sense that it was under those like restrictions. Like you were able to create something, not only music, but the experience of the video, where it didn't look like it was COVID based. Like it didn't look like it was. Some people embrace that, and there's masks and videos and stuff, and that's fine too. But like it's there that it then to know that you could go read that article as like a sidebar to it and be like, wow, they were really going through a lot right there, emotionally and restriction wise, like you had compliance wise, whatever. So it's kind of a neat companion to watching the video. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I haven't heard it from that perspective before, but that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's probably a good, let's jump way back to the beginning. Like is it the same members of the band that went through the rebranding? So like, we'll get to that in a second, but there's this moment where you guys form a band and it was called The Guys on the Bus.
Mm-hmm.
And it was out of you, was it high school or college? It was somewhere where you like were in a part of an orchestra.
Yeah, that was like junior, senior year of high school. We were in an orchestra. And then when we all graduated, like later that year, like freshman year of college, I got a bunch of fill-in gigs at like local places, and some churches needed a musician. And I just invited these guys and we started jamming and playing at pizza places, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And my brother, he was the last one to join the band. We had a couple other guys just cycle through that just lived on my dorm floor. And my brother, when he turned 13, my dad.
I was gonna say it was more age related than anything because
he was traveling with us. My dad drove us around a lot because I was a young college student. I was like, I think I turned 17 during my freshman year of college.
Sure.
And so my dad would like chaperone the band down to like Austin, Texas, and play for no one, but like play shows, And so my brother would go whenever my dad went, and his whole goal, he actually wanted to be the drummer. So he was hoping Evan, our drummer, would quit, and then he would become the drummer. So he joined just waiting for Evan to be done. And then Evan stayed on for a really long time. So
that's funny.
Yeah, and we started traveling. I
have other things you want to do.
He only recently
just want to see the world.
Yeah, Evan didn't even know that was the thing until like last year. And Caleb was like, oh yeah, I wanted you out. So, but yeah, Caleb's got plans, He probably wants me out too. So, that was in, I think 2017, we started traveling as Guys on a Bus. I think we came up with the band name probably 2015 or 2014, but none of us could travel during college.
Yeah.
Once I dropped out of school.
You were guys waiting for the bus.
Exactly. Yeah. Funny thing is, we didn't even really have a bus until we changed the name. So we were like always in a minivan, and we got that joke every time. It was like, "Oh, you guys in a van, or you guys in a Prius?" Like,
right.
So,
not as cool of a name.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Unless you had, Toyota sponsoring you, that would have been awesome.
That would be a really cool name, actually.
Right.
Yeah. But no, that's how it started.
And then was that, so again, in researching, and the interwebs are like, undefeated. Was that more Christian based? Like, was that, because I was reading articles where it was like a little bit more focused around it being Christian based music or whatever. Is that not the case? Because there were some articles that I had found that was like focused around that.
It's tricky because we are Christians. A lot of us are still Christians in the band.
Sure.
And we met at a Christian college. And to make money, we would play like church camps in between shows, but we also primarily played clubs, and we just didn't tell people that early on, because that's like, I was technically breaking the rules at the school that I went to. Cause there was one time when a guy from our school played at a bar in town, and I was in Austin, Texas playing at a bar. And then there was an announcement at the school that was like, "Hey, remember, you can't participate at events at bars." And I was like, "Who told him?" Like, and then it was this other guy, and I was like, "Dude, why would you do that in town?" So,
yeah, that's a little,
but no, we were never really like a Christian band. But
okay,
but
it was probably like, the periodical or whoever I was reading. It was probably their perspective on what the questions they were asking you.
Yeah, we got that one a lot early on. It was like because there's like the whole like mid 2000s conversation about like, are you a Christian band or are you Christians in a band? And like nobody likes the answer either way. So our favorite bands are pretty wide ranging, and I respect what Christian artists do, but that's never really our goal. Is just to be a band that can draw a crowd. That's our goal, is to be like a live touring band.
Yeah. So. Well, even like a lot of times you hear it in the beginning, we talk about genre defiant. We'll bring on people who are like, well, we're kind of like jazz fusion mixed with bluegrass. Like, it's like, I don't care. I just want it to sound awesome. Like, so we always talk about it's the excellent genre. That's who's on the show. And even if it's not exactly the type of genre you would typically listen to, tune in, and at a minimum, you're going to enjoy the conversation, and maybe you'll like the music.
Yeah.
But that's
you'll learn something new.
Exactly. And
you'll broaden your horizons a little bit.
We don't care what the basis or what the band thinks of themselves as far as either genre or category or whatever. If we go and see them play and they are just blow it out the doors, like, we're going to bring them on the show. So to us, it doesn't really matter either. So that's like you
Thanks
said.
For having me.
Yeah, well, like if you said, if you're bringing people, like, you have the same attitude about it that we do. Like, it's like, who really cares? Like, let's just play great music.
Yeah.
But David, did you have a question? You had something about either songwriting or something there about the.
Well, so we were talking about this right before we started the thing. One of the things, your brother's in the band. You mentioned how Caleb's young. How much younger is Caleb than you?
That's a good question. I think close to 4 years, a little less than 4 years.
Okay, so 4 years. You have we had talked about briefly about how you start with a lyric set. The guys throw their parts on top of the chord changes and sort of help you get out of your head a little bit to bring it all together. So the other side of that is you are in a band with your brother.
Yeah,
and so that both has its challenges and its benefits. And one of the benefits, at least asking about, is, and this is both your brother is one part of it, but there's the big picture is you guys do use a lot of vocal harmonies in your setups. And I was wondering if you could speak to that a little bit, because for rock bands, you end up with the singer and maybe the one guy that does a backing vocal, but you guys actually do a pretty lush sound with that. It's nice, to hear that. It's, you don't often hear that, especially in something that's so rock based. So I was wondering if you could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, we started out, I think it was a lack of instrumentation. We just didn't really know how to play very much. So I was on acoustic guitar for a while, and we were very folky. And to fill the sound out on stage, I was like, I remember saying, like, I used to just yell, "Help me." And I needed all four people on stage to sing. And then I was like, it sounded kind of a little clunky. So then we ironed out harmonies, and we would spend practice on the instrumentation. And then we would spend time practicing the vocals, which were separate. And I was in a band as a kid briefly with my siblings, like my two sisters and my brother. and that was all harmonies. And we were raised on like Frankie Valli and Simon and Garfunkel.
Sure.
Oh, well,
and
it's good source material.
Yeah, and my brother and I just gravitated toward, and the Everly Brothers too, and then the Avett Brothers a little later in life. So been obsessed with the brother band thing. And Need to Breathe is another band that we reference a lot, where there's two vocals that actually sound like Caleb and I sound really similar. We actually have like the same speaking voice. So people don't always like if you're just on a call with us, you don't always know who's talking.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
family harmonies, man. There's a thing. There's a whole thing that happens with that.
So we could just say he's on the show, and no one would know on the audio.
Exactly.
Version.
And then he would cut in and say something really sarcastic. That's the one thing, though. Caleb is like way drier than me. I think I'm just a little bit too happy for him sometimes, a little too chipper. But yeah. So that harmony thing was early on. I was obsessed with Mumford & Sons as well. Like that was like during that fad where everyone had a banjo in their band. We did that for a while, and I think the harmonies, we were like, yeah, this isn't as fun to play live. Let's become a rock band. So like we started writing rock songs, and then we kept the harmonies, and that we didn't know it at the time, but it has kind of helped set us apart. That's how we got noticed in the first place to get our booking agency and our record deal and everything. It all came because we used to open our shows as a barbershop quartet kind of thing. We wrote like this intro, and it was just four of us singing around one mic. And that got filmed and sent to all the right people. And
well, let's talk
now
about
we
that second.
still do that. Yeah,
that's how the Rex in particular saw you. Yeah, and then they brought you on their tour, correct?
So they didn't bring us on tour. The tour was mostly over when we met them, but they did bring us out to LA and introduce us to their managers. And
so that's what it is.
Yeah, and we got hooked up with Richard and Stephanie Rains. They're they started Drive Thru Records in the mid 2000s. So they kind of run the show for us, and they've really helped develop us. The one thing though is they were like, you guys are writing rock songs now. We like your new songs, and we think you've got a lot of potential, but we don't like the name, and we don't like the folk thing. So they were like, if you're going to be a rock band, you probably just want to overhaul, and if you want to do that, then there's a lot of opportunity on the table for you. So we were like, yeah, done. So that was kind of when and people like our hometown was a little mad at us for a while, but like on the drive back from LA, we were brainstorming names. We're like, well, I don't care. Like if it means success or like another door is open, then we're all about like starting over. So
yeah. We always talk about this. David has a strange list of all these like potential band names.
It's true.
So if you know of anybody else going through such a metamorphosis, you could send them our way, and we'll have a good.
We really need to have that image available to just throw up every time we mention this.
I mean, it looks like the writings of like an axe murderer. Because it's multiple people who have added to it. So it's like some of it goes this way, some of it goes this way, and it's all different handwritings. So it definitely looks intimidating to start. But then when you start reading them, they're everything from the funny to poignant to whatever. And it's just kind of like, oh, wow, that would make a good band name.
Some that automatically tell you what kind of music they are. Like the name is also like this long on some of them.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I had an addition today. I was listening to something earlier, literally just today, and I was like, "Oh, I got to add this to the list." Raging Apathy.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, which could be like a metal band, or it could be like piano solos. Like either way, like, you just never know where that was.
Or both.
Or both. Right.
It's like Norwegian symphonic metal. It's very overwrought and everything like that.
You guys are very versed.
Yeah. Oh, right. Like we said, we bring anyone on the show who's excellent. So
next week, Norwegian symphonic metal band. No,
I hope our inbox get flooded with options there, and we get to pick one, because that would be cool to listen to a bunch of them. And so the other thing, Nathan, that I wanted to touch on there, because I think this is pretty cool. I hadn't heard of this before. I'm sure it's happened, but it's something that you guys have out there. Around that time, you also sign a contract with yourselves.
Yeah. And
like you basically commit to do this for, I think I've read 4 years. Like you were basically looking for everyone in the band to stick with it, good or bad or indifferent.
Yes, that was, I've since realized that's viewed as pretty extreme by other bands. And anytime a band asks me, like a lot of my friends are starting bands right now, and they've asked like, what do you do? And I was like, the best thing you can do is get the guys who are going to do it locked in, because you don't want to have to be thinking about who's going to play drums week to week.
Yep.
So I think I was probably 17, 18 years old. And I was like, if we're going to do this, I was about to drop out of college to do it full time.
Yep.
And I was like, I'll do this. I'll book all of our shows. I'll get a van. I will risk like my own credit score, on this band. And I was like, but I need to know that we're going to do it for at least 2 to 3 years. so that I don't have to wonder about you guys. And then with that came very strict, like, these days are practice days. If you need the day off, you can request it from the other band members.
Sure.
But we've got to practice. So we practiced every Monday and Tuesday for like 5 hours a day each day. We did that for probably 3 years as guys on a bus. And then we eventually started getting actual shows, which then at the shows we were a little more prepared than I think we would have been if we had been like, oh, we don't have shows, why practice? So and then I mean the one thing that I would probably change, it worked out well for the guys that we had a couple guys quit, and we had a clause about quitting. And basically it was, you can't leave the band hamstrung. So if you quit before the contract is up, you forfeit your equipment, so that we just need a replacement person. So basically a band member would quit and be like, all right, well, leave your amp, leave the guitar. I just got to find a guy now. He doesn't have to like supply all the gear.
Sure.
And that served the band well. And I was told to do what's best for the band. That's always been like the advice I've gotten from industry professionals.
Sure.
And doing that in a way that balances the friendships and making sure everybody doesn't feel like it's stressful when you sign that contract. You're like, all right, like, I hope this goes well. And
cool. I'm in a band 4 years.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the only way we're able to build anything and to have any kind, like, everything we got, nothing happened in the first year, but we were told that you two play 200 dates a year for 3 years. You're going to meet everybody you need to know. And that's what we did. And a year and a half into that, we had met the people that we really needed to get off the ground. So, it was pretty extreme, but I still advise other bands. I'm like, you don't want to do it with anybody that's like not all the way committed,
Yeah, you got to be all in for sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned,
I think, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It's almost
Phil.
like Blood Brothers. No, I'm just.
Well, you mentioned the number of shows a year. You guys, your tour, we saw you in August. You literally played at somewhere I was the following. I saw you on what was the last day? It was the last day we saw them.
It's like August 14th.
14th, and I was 4 days later in Southern Delaware, where my brother lives. And you were playing a Dogfish Head. So you were literally where I was. Like I was like, now I look like I'm following these guys like I'm a Grateful Dead fan at this point in time.
That's awesome.
You're a foxhead.
I'm a foxhead, or whatever you want to call it, right? So, but what I was going to get at is to ask about the number of shows. You talked about playing a number of shows, and you guys do the road gigs. I mean, you guys go out there and play the shows. It's,
Yeah, we aim for 100 to 150 a year, and we usually get about 120. So
with travel days, that's a lot of time spent out on the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 120 is basically every third day you have a gig on average.
Yeah, we got back yesterday, and then we leave tomorrow. So we've got, and we have 3 or 2.5 weeks left on this run, and then I think we're done for the year, which is crazy. I was talking to somebody, like, I haven't seen him in, like, I thought it was like maybe a month ago. And I actually haven't seen my cousin, who's one of my best friends. I haven't seen him in like 6 months. And I've just been gone that whole time.
Yep.
So,
sure. Well, you played last night in Joplin, like a Halloween show.
Yeah, that was fun. And so we're actually, Evan's at the end of his contract, and he's having a second kid. So our drummer, this was his last show, at least his last hometown show. So it's funny, we're talking about these contracts. I'm like, I should have extended that. No.
But, when you had the leverage.
Exactly. Yeah. But now our new bass player, Chase, he's taken over on drums.
Okay.
And we're going to try it as a 3-piece and just see how it goes. My brother's talking about playing bass. He's tired. He never stays on an instrument longer than like a year or two. And he likes to just switch around. So it should be an interesting 2023 for Fox Royale.
Absolutely. Well, this is probably, since we talked about that, this is probably a good time. So let's transition to Musikfest.
Yeah.
We have a recording from that. And one of the things I wanted to highlight was Evan's one of the most kinetic drummers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like we were sitting there watching this happen, and probably like 80% of it was enjoying the music and what you guys had going on, and 20% of it I just fixated on how he performed, because you were on the Main Street stage. So people who know Musikfest, as a 4-piece, you're going to be spread out. So like he was actually facing like perpendicular to the stage, and so we were able to almost watch him do what he was doing from the side. And he stands up and drums things and sings along. And anyway, like I was saying that day to David, I was like, man, find you somebody who loves you the way that this dude loves drumming, because like, he is, talk about being all in. Holy smokes. He is like,
he's phenomenal. Yeah. And anytime I'm like dipping in energy, I just look at him like, no, you can't, you got to keep going. Like, so.
Right. Yeah. No, you got to keep up with him for sure.
Yep.
So this is a song from the Guys on the Bus phase.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else you want to do to kind of lead into it? And
Yeah.
then I'll hit play.
It's basically the song I wrote as I was dropping out of college, and it was our encore last night for our hometown show, which was kind of fun. So we still incorporate our favorite Guys on a Bus songs to fill out the time for the Fox Royale show. Cool. Yeah, it's just about dropping out and trying to do well out of town.
And it's called Midwest Dropout?
Yes.
Excellent. So here is Fox Royale / Guys on a Bus, Midwest Dropout, and definitely pay attention to the drummer drumming his little butt off.
Kids from the school and we're drinking the same old coffee. Try to be cool like the ones who are always talking, didn't get a say in the way life happened to us. Now they don't see us cause we're gone. We're never going back. We want some notice, show us grace, play for everybody. Let's take some step and stay. We want some notice, we don't get paid, we play for anybody. Hometown rock
This is definitely the kind of music, like, again, like, of all the types of music and genres, like, this is the one I would always want to put on. Like, this is that, like, I don't know, kind of angsty. You put jangly in there, that's definitely part of it, too. Like, I don't know, it just has such a very, very cool vibe to it.
Thank you.
Any, like, so we talked about this a little bit. Did you say there's only 5 songs out there under Fox Royale as far as, like, what's available?
I think there are 6. There are 6 now. We just put out one like a couple days ago. So 6, and we've got 3 more in the pipeline. So hopefully we'll have an EP or an album out soon.
Yeah. And then any chance songs like this would surface for release?
There's a couple songs we've talked about re-releasing. We might include them on like a deluxe album, like if we were, but only physical copies. Like we sell a demo CD at a lot of our shows, and there's songs on there that we made, but that we're probably not going to finish, or that we'll never see like a wide release. And it's kind of an incentive to get a CD, because otherwise, like, a lot of people are like, well, I can listen to this on Spotify for free. So the CD's like, well, if you want to hear the one song that you really like tonight, like Panic Attacks is everybody's favorite usually, that's on the CD. So
yeah,
but that might be this.
I think this song crushes.
For all of us Foxheads, I have the CD. I also have it on the limited edition 45 only box set that is 7 songs. The 8th side is just picture disc. It's incredible.
All right. So the first part of that was true. The rest of it was a lie. He does have the CD.
I do have the CD. It's true.
And this is the bait right here. Like, let me suck you in so I can smash you over the head with more riffs. See, there he is. He's standing. I think this is so great. I've literally never seen a drummer do this.
Yeah, you said that literally during the show, and I said the only other drummer I know that does that is the drummer for the Violent Femmes.
Yeah, that's right. You did. Here, we'll bring up the close here. And I said this earlier too, like even in the video and here with the performance, like it's very clear you guys are enjoying performing together.
Yeah, it's fun. It's the best part of touring for sure. That was a lot of fun too. We had no idea what Musikfest was. We'd never been, and we were like, "Yeah, we get to play a festival today." And we got there, and it was just packed. And then getting our stuff down that hill was scary. We didn't know which stage to go to.
Yeah.
And it was great though. And then we ended up meeting, we met a few people. We got to go to a Thai place after, and they just gave us like a whole spread of free food, which was cool.
Oh, right across the street.
Yeah, that was great.
From where you were playing, yep.
That was awesome. And then we met a guy named Ray who goes down every year for Musikfest with his family. And then but he lives in New York. And then his family went to our show in Brooklyn and then hosted us at their house that night so that we didn't have to get a hotel. So it was, and now like Ray just texted me today. I haven't heard from him in a few weeks, but today he texted me and trying to get us to come up for like some shows, maybe in Vermont or something in the wintertime. So it's just crazy. You never know who you're going to meet at these things. And then we ended up connected with you guys as well. We've been in touch. And so it's not every day we get to do this. So it's fun how what festivals lead to.
Yeah, I couldn't stay till the extreme end to meet you all, but you had somebody work in the merch tent. So I went over there and just was like, here's my information. I'm going to reach out.
Yeah.
I hope they would say
Robert.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And here we are.
Well, that was the one thing I said to you. The one thing that they got right, a few bands did this during a festival. During a festival, it is a tough time to play as a band. You get exposed to a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of people that are just sort of wandering from music to music, which is one of the wonderful things about a festival. But it's hard as a band to remember who you saw. And you had it might have been Robert that you just mentioned, had stickers that he was handing out to people in the audience. And it was such a small, clever thing that you walk away with that and you remember that.
Yep.
And that's one of these like, oh, there's a band. You know, like instead of it being like,
cool.
remember that chick that played guitar? You know, like
instead
it's like, dude that played guitar. Right, now you got a name.
Yeah, we saw Royale with cheese. I don't know.
Yeah.
I looked it up and can't find it
anywhere. Touring in Europe. It's only when they tour in Europe that they use that name.
That's right.
So yeah, no, that was definitely a smart move, and you lucked out because sometimes that sun can just blast that stage, and so you guys were in the shade and it was great. And
yeah, it was that sweet spot right after. So.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, like we always talk about, like Musikfest has these moments where you're just like totally blown away by some band you never heard of before, and you're like, whoa. And that's really what this show is about, is putting that out there for other people who couldn't be there each of the days, or for moments like this where we're kind of saying, hey, here's one you missed, but you didn't have to. Here, listen to them, hear their story, listen to the music, and go see them when they perform nearby. And that's what this is about. So so thank you again for playing for Musikfest and for coming on the show. Lots of, like you talked about, there's some new music coming out. There was a release, last Friday, right? Carnival Gods was just released like a week ago. Maybe days ago, actually. Great song. Like, it really, really, again, kind of fits the whole kind of like collection you've got going on there, where it's these just, anthemic is what you use there. It's a great word for it, where it's stuff you want to sing along to. Yeah,
that's what I don't know. There's more to music, I'm sure, than that. And but for me, that's what I've been obsessed with. Like, it's always like I like to sing at shows. And if I don't know the band and I can still sing along, that's kind of like my mode. I think I'm getting to a point where I'm like, man, if it's all catchy, is there any substance to it? And I wonder about that sometimes. But I love writing hooky stuff, and if it's not catchy, I don't finish it. So.
Yeah, no, right. Well, we talk about it all the time. Like, there's pop music, and then there's like pop, like what do we use, David? Like pop sensibilities, like where it's like
you can do a pop adjacent type. I mean, you can have like a catchy melody. As examples, I'll use this as a specific towards your guys. So I have the Fox Royale demo. It's on I have a little music server that I keep all my home CDs on, and it compares it to They Might Be Giants as far as the sonic textures of it. And there's an idea of a band that has poppy. I mean, some of their songs are hooky as all get out, and some of them are slightly silly, but there's an intellectual twist to what they're doing, and that's the point. Like, it's not just, it's not designed about being the most consumable, perfect version of what that moment in time is meant to be, which is what I think pop music is really built around.
That's true.
Yeah, so, and this might even play into that even more so to help you feel even better. When I was listening to that song being the first time, I wish I knew it more so that I could sing along.
Yeah.
And kind of in a smoky dive bar, like which wouldn't bring you a lot of money, but it would be a thoroughly enjoyable experience.
I play those all the time. Yeah.
So I need to come to Joplin, Missouri, is what I'm hearing here, and listen to that song. Like, now that I have it, and it's a part of the show, everyone else does too. Get to know it, and then go see the show, and then we can all sing along. At the close at 2 a.m. But yeah, back to the latest release. So Carnival Gods comes out, already getting very, very good reception.
Yeah, I've been really happy with that. We got some people said some really nice things about it.
Yeah, and it was co-written by Nicholas Wheeler, All American Rejects.
Yeah,
it's very, very cool.
That was exciting. He's become like, I don't want to overstate it, but I think we're friends. So he's been really nice. And like I got sent to Nashville to do like sessions where they send you to a room. You don't know, like you see a name on a calendar, but it doesn't like list like credentials or what band they're from. And you end up in the room with people. And I just learned you need to be prepared, because if you show up to these things, you're not ready. Like I had one guy who I thought we'd really like clicked. And then I found out later, he was like, he canceled our other session. He was like, nah, he's not ready. He doesn't want to write. He's not serious. And I was like, I was just trying to be open-minded, man. Like, and I totally just blew that and had no idea. It's like that Midwest thing where I was like, I think we hit it off. And he was like, I hate this guy. But
he didn't say that to you. He just said it to people that handle calendars.
Right. Yeah. So my manager was like, what did you say to that guy? And I was like, I don't know. And then he was like, well, just make sure you're ready for tomorrow. So I went upstairs. I was staying at my manager's house. And I went upstairs and I just wrote the chorus to Carnival Gods. And I recorded like a video for TikTok as like just an exercise. And the next day I was like, well, I wrote this. And it was like a really sad, moody thing. And it was Nick Wheeler that I was writing with that day. And he was vibing with it. And we like cranked out this full demo, which is pretty much what the final song is. We just retracked some of the parts, but it's pretty much been the exact same sound and arrangement since day one. And he's working on another song that we're going to put out next year right now. And it's crazy because I love the All-American Rejects. And when I was like, that's who that is, you know, like, and he's such a chill dude, you know, he's not like you meet like bands that are too cool for, you know, a conversation or whatever. And you got to like be careful, but he's such a nice guy and he's so welcoming to the rest of the band. And we do our best to not geek out about it too much while we're there. You know, we don't want to be like weird, be like, so it gives you hell, huh? Like, you know, so
we're friends, right?
Yeah. I'm just like, gotta ask him, you know, like, and I feel like
I'll come over for Thanksgiving. That's fine.
Yeah. It's no big deal. I'll be there. I'm here. I'm outside. No,
are you guys a jellied or fresh cranberry family?
Yeah. I've got both.
Yeah. It's weird. Like being in the industry, even just meeting the Recs. Like they let us in the green room. We're like, wow, we get to go to the green room, you know? And like back when we were guys on a bus, we got to open for the band Camino one time before they before they blew up. Like
they were a big deal. Yeah.
They were just like playing, you know, coffee shops and they were letting us open for them. And they were so nice. And we've opened for bands that were not nice. And I'm not going to name those bands, but like, but it's crazy when you meet like these guys who have done it and they have all this, this career that you're striving for as like an indie rock band. And when they open doors for you and they help you write a song and they help you make like what I think is probably my favorite song. I think Carnival Gods is my favorite one we've done. And then Nick Anderson from the Recs helped us with our first 3 releases. So he co-wrote Don't Call Me When You're Lonely. And then he produced Out of My Hands and I'm Going Out. So, and then Jake Rye, which is, he's in a Christian band, or he was, called Sanctus Real. That was like a huge touring Christian band. They're still going, but he's not in it anymore. But first song I ever played live in church was a Sanctus Real song. So like he produced some songs. It's like we're in the studio with these people. I'm like, these are human beings and we know them now. And like you just can't say anything about it. You just gotta be like, cool, I get to be here. So
yeah. No, that's awesome.
I'm so glad we're hanging out, guys. This is
I'm like, hey, we're
so cool.
Should we take a photo with him or would that ruin it? You know, like
if I high five, is everyone gonna help or is it gonna be really awkward?
Break, yeah. I got about it a lot. So
totally. On that same vein, you have more music coming out in the future, and I heard a rumor you might play some for us tonight.
Yeah, we do. We have more songs coming out. This one's never. I don't know if this one's ever coming out. But it's
even better. I love it.
It's the crowd favorite, and I send it to people when they ask for this song. I just send them a demo version of it because it's like. It's not really the vibe we're going for right now as a band, but we play it every night in the middle of our set, and it's just the guitar and then the vocals and Evan just shaking the tambourine really hard.
So we're gonna come off the screen to give you center stage. Okay. And what's the name of the song?
It's called Panic Attacks.
Excellent. Well, here is Panic Attacks by Fox Royale.
Original minds just wasting my time. New people, same type. The jokes don't sit right. Is it gonna pay off? Have we all had enough? We keep looking back at the cliff as we jump. We hope the water feels amazing, but we might just fall, lose our bodies and then some. And the panic attack comes from way down low. Can't can't quit now, I guess I'm out of control. And the panic attack is right into the show. There's a fire underfoot and it's burning my soul. See your ex-wife, lovely, fake, nice, same story, new side. The hate don't feel right if you're both giving up or needed a break. Maybe get together just to cry and to pray, cause you were happier once, and then came the rain, washed away what you were feeling, started tossing the blame. And the panic attack comes from way down low. I can't quit now, I guess I'm out of control. And the panic attack's just right into the show. There's a fire underfoot and it's burning my soul. Those girlfriends, I didn't need them. Pray I find help cause I know that I need some. Hoping that my situation would it all be different if I never knew. Then I wanna come talk but I don't understand. I wanna be a better person, not sure if I am. Wanna find me a woman, not sure if I can. My bad habits keeping me from being a man. And the panic attack comes from way down low. I can't quit now, I guess I'm out of control. The panic attack's just right into the show. There's a fire underfoot and it's burning my soul.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. What a great song.
Thank you very much.
And the Foxheads apparently have that on the CD that they bought.
Yep.
As I mentioned to Phil as we were just while you were playing, I texted him. I'm like, us Foxheads have this on the demo CD, and we know this deep cut.
And now here we have it on the show. So thank you so much for that. That's wonderful, and we always super appreciate when people play live for us and for the fans and followers that are listening in. So terrific. One other topic before we kind of like have you promote some things for what's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I found this fascinating. You are, I guess, even it's not yet released, so it's still currently scoring a movie called Eldritch USA.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's good research. So, Guys on a Bus, one of the last things we agreed to do, old bass player Davis was our producer in the old band. And as a lyricist and songwriter, my uncle has made a bunch of, mostly short films. I think he's done one feature length. And he's working on a full-length film right now, and it's a horror musical like H.P. Lovecraft. So,
it was labeled as an energetic horror comedy musical. Which that right there, I'd like to check out.
Yeah, I'm already on board. Yes,
I just did I got to watch an edit of it the other day on the bus. And
while you're chatting, I'm going to bring up the website. So go ahead.
Oh, that's awesome! Very cool. So Eldritch USA, I wrote. Not all of it, but I wrote a lot of the lyrics and the music, and my uncle
weird
wrote
and wonderful.
That's awesome. I haven't seen this in a while. That's so cool. So this has been kind of a thing for a few years. Basically, right around the time we changed our band name, we had just started working on this, and there's a GoFundMe, and I think they've wrapped production on it. So they're in post production.
There's this wonderful tentacle coming down from the sky.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, and they filmed it in Springfield, Missouri. Mostly local talent on this, and that's my uncle Ryan Smith there at the top left.
Got it.
He asked me to be a part of it, and Davis and I
Guys on a Bus.
Songs. Yeah, that's me way down there.
You're the one facing the other direction.
Yeah. We were already on our way out.
There's like an interview. Yeah, there's an interview here with you, and then there's other interviews with other people. So if you're at all interested in the once again energetic horror comedy musical genre, this website is here, and I guess it'll get. Do you know where it's going to get released to?
I think the plan is to shop it at film festivals and see where they get it picked up. I think if nothing else, it'll end up on Amazon Prime, but I'm hoping they get it bought. So, but I think he's hoping to finish it in the spring of 2023. But I don't want to put pressure on him. So Ryan, I'm just guessing. I'm not.
You're right. Yeah. No, this is it's more of just pure excitement as to why we're talking about it. No, honestly, like the little bit I've seen, and you talk a good bit in there about having background in like Broadway shows and how that was, kind of influencing your songwriting for this particular project. And I just thought it piqued my interest just from the little bit that's out there. That again, can't wait to check it out. I think it's gonna
it was a lot like what was that Joss Whedon musical with
Dr. Horrible sing-along
yes,
blog.
that was the inspiration. And
well,
so
that's it. I'm all in. Where do I send the money? Like
he was already
that was an easy sell right there. I mean, like boom.
Well, it did say the Kickstarter already was accomplished, but I'm sure you could still send money.
I'm sure they'll still take my money.
No,
yeah, I was gonna say
no, certainly not.
Put the word comedy and Eldritch together. I'm like, you mean comedy Lovecraft? Like I'm in. Like like,
it references H.P. Lovecraft a good bit.
Well, that's where the word Eldritch comes from.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's we get a little etymology here on the show tonight.
Oh yeah, there you go. But no, that does look fascinating, and congratulations to you for getting that opportunity.
Thank you. It was fun, and I still don't know what I'm doing with that, but it's been fun that I got a chance to do it. So hopefully I didn't hopefully I don't want to be the problem with any project. So you'll be like, the thing was great, the song sucked, but the movie was great.
That would be great if that's what the interviews were like. It's fascinating, but the music, what? I'm not quite following. No, but great opportunity. Again, it kind of also shows the diversity of what your talent brings to the table, and to me, that's just more exciting for where your Fox Royale will go, because it's just showing such a wealth of opportunity for where you can pull from.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting, and getting to exercise those muscles is fun. And trying to write for other characters and voices is tricky. And there are a couple of times he was like, "This doesn't work." So, but yeah, that's crazy. How did you find that? I'm just curious. Like, where was that? IMDb
just different.
Maybe, or
no, it was just different search terms. I think it was putting in Nathan Hurley interview. It made it come up on YouTube.
Oh, okay, very cool. That's awesome. I didn't even know that interview was up. I remember doing that, but
and then then from there you can kind of back into anything, because then once you see a title or whatever, then it's like. It borderlines on creepy, the type of research I do, but it tends to make for good interviews. Right. Yeah. There we go. That's much better. Yeah. But yeah, no. Looking forward to that. And what else do you want to promote as far as Fox Royale? Like, I'll bring up your website here, and we can kind of show some of the shows. You already kind of mentioned some of that, but
we've got lots of tour dates coming up, and. In the new year, I think we're gonna be out on the road quite a bit, but mostly right now we're working on songs. So we're writing. We're gonna go play some private shows and get back in the studio and hopefully get an album ready for either the end of next year or 2024.
Once again, amazing production on this website. I'm just on the homepage and I'm like fascinated.
Thank you. Yeah, that's in Texas. We're playing there tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So
I'll click on tour here and you can see. Again, there's the Rustic. So is that tied into because it's upcoming? Or is that
no,
just part
actually,
of the
that's we just wanted to, we had a live video we wanted to put on the website. Yeah.
Got it. So there you go. It tied in perfectly. But shows in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. I sound like a song right now. Denver, Wichita, Kansas City, Chicago, Cincinnati. So lots of different opportunities to kind of see Fox Royale coming up, mostly, if not exclusively, Midwest.
Yep. We do West Coast about once a year and then East Coast once a year. But hopefully next year we'll hit them both twice.
There is a contact page in case you want to ask them to play a private show. Here's that.
Yep.
And there's merch. We always like to sling some merch.
Yes.
True.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So what you have here is badass logos and jackets and stuff. And then on top of that, we always talk about this. It's the best way to support what you guys are doing, because this is where the most amount of funds can go towards the musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Buy the merch straight from the band, go see the shows, all the streaming stuff. Like we talked about before, it's not going to generate a lot of revenue for you all. And if you like what you're hearing, the best way to kind of support that, to give you the opportunity to keep creating, is to either buy merch or go see shows, or both.
True. And if anybody listening or watching likes to stream music, definitely add Carnival Gods to a few playlists, because that will help it get some traction online.
Mm-hmm.
slaves to the algorithm, like you guys were talking about.
Right,
No, you're not wrong. Yeah,
yeah.
That's the other side of it. It's the call into your local. It's the new call into your local radio station and request the song kind of thing that you need to do.
Yeah. So we each guest we bring on the show, we have a playlist out there on our like Spotify channel called The Vital Three, and so we always put in 3 songs that we think are the most important 3 that you need to listen to either before or after the interview. And so Carnival Gods is in there for that, along with some of the other ones we've played today. But so yeah, if they need any help navigating to it, you can go to our Vital 3 list and kind of launch off to Fox Royale from there.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else you want to promote? Any other like you said, you're kind of going more into the laboratory here, but
we're just now stepping away from the road, which is weird because that's all we've really done for the past year. So yeah, the big things though are like that musical comedy that's coming out. Like keep an eye out for Eldritch USA, and then more music from Fox Royale should be coming soon. So.
Excellent. And our hope would be either or both a tour that brings you either Philly, Bethlehem, or New York, something that's reachable for us here, and or doing another set at Musikfest next year.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I want to come back soon. I want to go back to Wilmington, Delaware is not far from Philly either, right?
Nope, not far at all.
Yeah, we played there. That's a great spot too. That Northeast area is really cool.
Know it very well. It's where I grew up.
Really?
So we're gonna have a 22-minute discussion on Delaware.
Anytime Delaware comes up, David goes into like, hang on, I've got 4 PowerPoint presentations.
Now we're going to just...
Oh, you want to talk about Delaware? I know Delaware.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. We even talk always about like a bingo card of like, hey, if this comes up in the show, you can mark it, and then
Delaware will be on that card.
And then and well, no, not just Delaware. David's eyes lighting up at the reference to Delaware. will be like a very, very key, like
very accurate
square. Yes. But anyway, Nathan, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having
me. We so enjoy your music. Please pass that along to the rest of the band. We really appreciate the talent and the energy and all of the great stuff you've got putting out there. Can't wait to see more of it. And can't wait to see you guys perform live again.
Thank you very much, guys. Hope to meet in person sometime soon.
Certainly. Would love that.
Be wonderful.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nathan.
David, Philip, another success.
and I'm so happy for you. Again, we started with terrific sports metaphors that I'm proud of you for, and then you closed with a Delaware reference. This one is like you bookended this thing.
You should see my bingo card over here.
David Moore, like Yahtzee.
Almost. I mean, literally almost. The only thing we didn't touch on was like jazz fusion bass players. Like if that was the case, we could have.
We almost did, though. I feel like
we could have a whole Victor Wooten conversation that would probably like take over another 20 minutes of the entire thing.
And I'm not even like I hope that didn't come across as like comedic. I'm genuinely interested in this Eldritch USA movie. I think that's.
I was joking because it's meant as the film is promoted as a comedy. If it's putting in the same character as like the Dr. Horrible sing along blog, like which is super enjoyable.
Right.
I'm not being facetious at all.
No.
I'm like genuinely think that's neat. And I think it's cool that he's associated with that. It shows the reach of his talent.
Absolutely.
Guy I used to be in a band wrote stuff for musicals. And it was a whole different side of what he could do.
Well, like I'll wish cast this out there, but here's what I think should happen with stuff like this. Cause I think it should have happened with the project that Carly Commando was involved in. Like ArtsQuest has a cinema that is kind of like beholden to no one. When they have musicians that are connected to movies, they should bring the artist in, do a talk back, and then a show. Like you could do the movie at 5, it's over at 6:30. There's a talk, and then at 8 is a show. Like I just think that that's something that they should be doing. So I'm going to wish cast that, and hopefully ArtsQuest is somehow listening.
I think you've got a good idea there. The idea is how to make that all come together, but I think you've got a good idea.
I don't see why people wouldn't be. It's more about the promotion of it. Like I don't think any one aspect of that. Right, you just got to get it out there and say, "Wow, that sounds like a really cool evening."
That's exactly what you just said. The right word. It's an understanding of what your evening looks like. You're not just going to see a 2-hour movie. You're not just going to a concert. You're going to see both.
Right, and also to connect
and the
with
reason
the creators.
Why. Yeah, precisely. Yep.
So anyway, that was my bright idea for the day.
Poof.
And now I might pass out.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
episode of your next favorite band, and we'd like to sincerely thank Nathan Hurley from Fox Royale, as well as all the other band members, Caleb Hurley, Evan Todd, drummer that is like on his last show, and then the other members that weren't able to join us for the evening. Thank you to all of them for all of their hard work, effort, energy, and talent as it's going into the songwriting and into the on the stage performances. The links are going to be in the show notes here for their website, the Spotify channel, the YouTube channel, Bandcamp, some of the articles that we've referenced throughout the episode here, as well as to Eldritch USA, so that you can kind of check some of that stuff out, and you'll hopefully tune in like the rest of us. And then be sure to subscribe to our content. If you already knew Fox Royale and that's what brought you here, thank you so much for tuning in. But we hope that you stick around and check out some of our other previous episodes and upcoming episodes. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on, and I think you're going to like that and find your future next favorite band. And we've got a lot of shows that we're going to go see in November and December, and we hope to see a live show soon.
It's all over now.